So for you to have a fantastic relationship, it is to know that these are my father's flaws. My father is not ashamed for me to know that these are his flaws. But when it comes to being there for me, he is there for me. When it comes to being strong for me, he's strong for me.
Let me take a break. And when I come back from the break, you tell me the results of the Girls' Aid Listening Father, some kind of stories that came out, and then you share some of the goriest details of how boys have not behaved like real men. I'll be right back with my guests. So don't go away. You know, I remember, yes, welcome back. I remember at the Girls' Listening Fathers activity, first of all, I wondered, is it because it was going to hold at the American Embassy, so the crowd, everybody was happy to be there, or what? But I was surprised, I was happy to see fathers coming with their daughters to come and hear you talk, you know? And what were some of the things that came out of that made you realize that what you're trying to do with Girls' Aid is right?
Okay. So, before we decided to start with fathers, we realized, like, just like you said initially, women get a lot of attention. We have a support system. Like, if my child is not doing well, I can call you and say, oh, auntie, what do you think I should do about this girl? Men don't do that for themselves. Men are expected to be strong. Yes, they are strong. So they internalize most of their problems, and even some they are not capable of handling. And then, so we decided that let's talk to fathers, because you realize that we daughters, we love our mothers, but like I always tell people, daughters want to impress their fathers. You know, when you see your results, your mom, you're like, then when you're about to give your dad, you're shaking, you're like, what's he going to say? I want to be first for my dad.
He's the first hero.
Yes, he's your first hero. So we felt the best person to start talking to, the place where we can, because we know the family is the basis of any society.
How would this stop teenage pregnancies?
Okay, yes, like I said, why does a teenager need to have a boyfriend at 13? Because, you know, 13 is teenagers, and 13-year-olds don't get pregnant.
Really?
And then, yes, and then you go like, when you talk to them, you realize, yes, they are physically pregnant, but they are mentally children. What made them realize that, what made them go out and have sexual intercourse at that age? So you trace it back. What conversations have they had with their dad? Have you sat down with her and say, okay, baby girl, you have reached this age where boys are going to start asking you out. They're going to want to have this with you, but you're not ready for this. When your mother gives you sex education, you literally roll your eyes like, oh, there she goes again. She doesn't want me to go out. But when you hear it from a masculine perspective, it does sink in.
Is that true?
It is true.
Well, your kids, your kids are still on that teenage life.
Yeah, sure, but...
Are you already telling them about keeping themselves?
Oh, definitely.
Are they listening to you? Are we telling them the parts of the body? You say daddy's talking.
We started talking to them about body parts before they turned 3, 4.
Well, you know, you also hear stories about fathers even abusing their own daughters.
Yeah. Those are extreme cases. But even abuse, you're talking about sexual abuse.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but abuse comes in different forms these days that are even worse than sexual abuse.
From the fathers?
Yeah, when a girl feels, I have a father, but I can't even relate with him. The man comes in, he screams, he yells, he beats up the mom in front of the girls. I mean, what's worse than that? The sexual side to it is more like the icing on the cake, which is equally bad.
The bad icing on the cake.
But you see, boys, even the fathers we're talking about, were boys.
So what are you telling your boys now? Not your own kids, or the kids you're mentoring and teaching?
Oh yeah. What we're trying to do is to redefine what masculinity is.
So what is masculinity? What should it be?
That's a long one. But basically it's seeing your strength as something you can leverage to make life better for anybody, including women.
Not to make it worse.
Not to make it worse, not to dominate, and not relating to women just based on their bodies. Yeah, because most boys have been socialized to believe that, you know, you're picking a woman, what's her size, what's her height, what's her shape, and not what's her brain, what's in her brain. So we can talk about
how does that, I must say, how does that socialization happen?
It happens unconsciously and consciously. It happens when you meet other boys and they say, hey, have you seen that babe?
Isn't like that a natural boy thing?
Yeah, but it is a socialization. It's not a natural boy-girl thing.
Okay.
When a boy is schooled to respect women, he doesn't go that route. He doesn't.
Do you have brothers?
Oh, yes.
How has your father raised them too? Are they as in love with your dad as you are in love with
No,
them?
in as much as he was a fantastic father for we girls, he's from the era of the patriarchy where boys were, boys. But there was one thing we never had. I never understood the concept of gender inequality. In fact, I think he had more dreams for his girls than the boys.
Maybe because he knew how to protect you guys.
And maybe that was it, you understand?
Which has its own...
Because I myself, I'm a medical doctor. My sister is a lawyer. She's a PhD holder and all that. But I noticed that for us girls, he used to task us as he tasked our brothers. However, he didn't make an attempt to domesticate the boys, but he taxed us mentally at the same level.
That's a huge minus.
Yes.
Now, when boys... There are cases where you go to a house, teenage boys, they are sitting in front of the TV, cross their legs. Their elder sisters are cooking and serving them.
Washing, doing all
the mother calls him, Okomi. And you're wondering, imagine you calling your son Okomi.
No, but isn't it because the girls are better at these things?
It is not. It is how we've been packaged based on patriarchy and our system.
So tell us, let's talk about solutions now. What's the best way out of this to ensure that our fathers are actually present? See what you have here, a world without fathers. Some have left home, others are waiting to leave, and the amiable dads are so few, which means is the amiable dad is the right dad. Yeah. Define the amiable dad for me.
Oh, I think I've had this one of them. And I'm trying to be one too. But you're also men who realizes that their daughters they are equal to their sons. Wow. Now, if you don't have a son and you've waited for God knows when to have a son, and the son shows up.
Please don't treat him like a king.
Exactly. The boy shouldn't override the house. He should do all the house chores.
Okay, but the boy inherits everything. What are the legal things around?
Yeah, those are not proper too, because the girls are also children. Yeah. But I think a starting point is to be open-minded, to first of all interrogate the socialization that brought us this far. Is it doing well?
Question it.
Yeah, question it. And I think programs like this will help us do that. By the time you are able to question it and you ask yourself, like there was something she said about her program, which...
Girls Aid, yeah.
Yeah. Some of these girls had hearts which they couldn't share with their fathers, but it created a deep gulf, a void that a father needed to fill.
But there's some things I don't think a father would want to hear, though. When I was talking to those girls, I said, would you tell your dad when you're in period? Say, ew.
That's because they died.
Well, we must round up, really. Sorry, we must round up. What's your last comments and what does Girls Aid hope to achieve?
Okay, so my last comment on this
on amiable fathers.
On amiable fathers is that every father has the potential to be the best dad in the world. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be there. So that's what I think. And then I think for Girls Aid, we just want to help every parent so that when your child leaves your home, you'll be able to breathe in and breathe out and say, okay, she's going to adulthood.
I think I should speak here for those who don't have biological fathers. Fathers don't have to biology. I think we must make that very clear.
Yes.
Some people are single parents, but there must be a male role model in the house that should fill the void.
Yes.
And that void is not a sexual void. It's
it's more about character, more about values. And basically, it's about value formation, character formation. The rest are principles.
Thank you very much for this. Parenting Now, thank you for being here.
Thank you so
and
much.
Girls Aid, thank you for being here. The next activity, I don't know who you're going to be talking to, still fathers?
Yes.
Always fathers?
No, not always fathers, but the first two, they're definitely for fathers. I've been hearing a lot of mom feeling I'm partial, but definitely fathers.
So fathers for now.
If fathers get it right, mothers will be fine.
I agree. If fathers get it right, mothers will be fine. Mothers have been getting it right for so long. Anyway. So I got to be out of here. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you again.
Thank you.
That's been the show for this week. We'll see you again next week. Thank you for watching.